Every year when we have an introduction group, pretty much big begonias is one of the highlights. We've been fortunate to come across a plant like that, and to breed a plant like that is really a once in a decade kind of product that you develop. You know, big begonias, it's still the absolute leader in its class. And I kind of want to go, before we talk about varieties, I want to talk a little bit about different container sizes that you can do. Now, we did some trials in the past with growing some big begonias in 306s. That can have its challenges. It is doable, we have a recipe, but otherwise I would say don't start with anything smaller than a 4-inch. So these are some 4-inch bigs. This is rose bronze leaf. So it is certainly possible. So you see, you can grow a nice plant that starts flowering, and certainly something that somebody would pick up in a garden center. You would work your way up through a quart, and then can of course grow a gallon container. Now a gallon container, that would be the standard that we see most of the bigs being grown in. Whether here on the West Coast, or I go to Florida or the Midwest, or anywhere across the country, gallons is really where bigs are very, very happy, and you get a great value. From there on, I see of course a lot of people that put bigs into either larger containers or even in hanging baskets. So this is a 10-inch basket with a big begonia. As you can see, it makes a very nice product, and of course all of you have seen bigs in the landscape, have seen it in mixed containers, and it's a great value for the consumer. And believe it or not, there's still potential out there to increase sales. It is the easiest plant that the consumers will ever grow. Full sun, full shade, anywhere in the US, anywhere in Canada, that plant is going to make it spring to frost. Now, the most exciting thing this year is that we now have a white. And this is, without question, the best true interspecific begonia that will make it, that has big begonia type performance, that will make it spring to fall, like I just said. It won't break down in the humidity, it won't break down in the heat. Now, it is a little different, and I'll show you some larger plants in a little bit where you can see the habit, and I'll point out some of the differences. But you see it here, even the little pots, they have the flowers. It's a white, a little bit towards ivory in color. Again, in a little 4-inch. And you can have your gallon containers. And again, if you put it into a 10-inch basket, it's no problem to grow it. So with this little review, I'll take you over to look at what some of the finished big begonias look like, and then we'll talk about some of the new introductions. Let's look at some big bigs, because big begonias really do themselves most justice when they're in big containers. And that is the promise we make to the consumers everywhere. When they see something like this, everybody is just in awe, and the plant really delivers on the promise. We have one improvement this year and a couple of introductions, and I just want to point those out. So one of the varieties we improved this year is the bronze leaf red. What's the improvement? It's mainly for habit. We just looked at across the entire series, we wanted something that was a little bit more rounded in its habit, a little bit fuller plant. If you look at it here, for you would not be able to see it. Some of you guys that came last year to look at some of our breeding trials, you do see then where the improvement lies. But from a flower performance, color, it'll be identical. So that's the bronze leaf red. What is a new color this year is the bronze leaf deep rose. Now we have a bronze leaf rose, and now we have a bronze leaf deep rose. Again, we're getting to the point, and I always say that to people, you might just grow one or the other. If you see them side by side, you're going to be able to see the differences. What we notice time and time again in North America, the bolder colors, so rose outsells pink, for example. So the deep rose, great contrast on the bronze leaf. So this is going to be a super great item. So deep rose bronze leaf is one of the key introductions and additions this year to the Big Begonia series. And then last but not least, I want to talk with you guys about the new big green leaf white. Here it is, the new big green leaf white. So this is a fantastic introduction. If you look at it closely, you're going to notice, ooh, the habit is a little different and the leaf structure is a little bit. We had long debates, should we call it a big begonia or not. It is slightly different, no question. Now, big begonias have the quality guarantee and the promise that they perform, and this one does, and that's essentially what led us later to the decision that we're going to include this in the big series. Now, it has a very, very dense habit. The leaves are a little different. They're a little bit more cupped, not as glossy as on all the other big begonias, but you see the white flowers coming into focus here, and they set off the green foliage nicely. Now, as these plants get older, they will size up and they will match the other big begonias. The other big begonias put out these shoots upright and the flowers a little bit more pendulous. Those peduncles are shorter here on the big green leaf white, but trust me, over time, the big green leaf white is going to size up. It'll fit any container. And if you look at some of our photography, and trust me, none of that is Photoshopped, you'll be very, very satisfied with what this plant can do. Seed supply on all of those is abundant, okay? You really need to make sure, if you're a grower, if you're a salesperson for a broker or distributor out there, look at your customer's order. Big begonias got to be on there, all right?